Greetings.
Greetings, everybody. It's been a minute, but we're back, baby. Yeah.
It's been a minute. It's your boy Easy.
It's your boy Ryan.
You sound like
boy Ryan.
you sound like all the Cosby kids all at once.
Oh no, it's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Turtle Soup, the world's only listeners supported, world supported, God deity supported. We've got some deities that wrote in and listened to us, oddly enough.
Nice.
The supported podcast YouTube channel dedicated to the ongoing journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the way from the beginning until the US Patent Office finally signs off on my multi-million-dollar idea, Ryan. And you want to know what that is?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's you got?
So I've got this idea. It just came to me 30 seconds ago. It's gonna be two things, or it could be one thing. The whole thing. It's gonna be basically dentures or grills that are called, or that are gonna be denim. That's the whole thing. They're denim. It's gonna be a trend.
Oh.
Instead of gold and stuff, it's denim. And
It's denim.
yeah, and
So you got different colors like stonewashed, distressed.
Yeah, you can get distressed, especially. Yeah, distressed, because that's the thing. As you wear them out, they don't have a long life expectancy.
Yeah.
But you could still take them to Plato's Closet or whatever place, to trade them out when the fads are in and out.
Yeah, if they'll take them.
If they'll take them, you never know.
Watch out.
Fashion trends are wild. But I was thinking about. I don't know. This is stupid. This is all coming in my head. I was thinking about the grills being called mean jeans. And because you like, but they're like kind of aggressive. I don't know, like have like some kind of in the stitching on them, like they'll be just like very angular. I don't know. This is all just brainstorming right now. That's how all great things happen. All good stuff comes from stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
And so anyway, until the U.S. Patent Office signs off on that, we're gonna still be doing the show. So yeah.
Oh okay. Good. Well,
you got a little bit. But yeah. We are live on YouTube, speaking of things that are happening now. And be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. If we're loud and wrong, let us know, please. And tell other people about us if you find us enjoyable or whatever the case may be. That means a lot to us. And we'd like to get our numbers up. It's always fun. Higher numbers are always better.
Yeah.
I've heard that if I think Danny even told us this. I don't know if he told you, but he told me that if we can get to 1,000 subs, we get a pizza party. Pizza party.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, he didn't tell me that, but I mean that guy plays fast and loose, so I'm sure that he's got something in the works.
He's got something in the works. So so there's that. So if you want to help us get a pizza party, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and that helps us tremendously. Now this episode is brought to you, to your ears and eyes and every way that you take this episode in, by our wonderful patrons over on patreon.com. If you'd like to become one of them, you can visit that website and throw some money our way. And those people that have been doing that to keep the show from saying clang and all the wonderful stuff, we call them family. They are none other than John O'Barnes and Michael Hatfield. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And,
two long-time Turtletarians, by the way.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like really keeping the lights on.
Yep.
John O'Barnes wrote us an email actually that is actually really good. And it's a longer one. So what we're doing with those from now on is if it's a bigger email, we want to take more time with it. We're going to do it on a mailbag episode that's going to be live streamed on YouTube. And of course, those videos are available after the live stream is over, so you're not going to miss your email if you can't catch it. You just have to go over to YouTube and check that out if you want to hear that. So if you send us an email and you don't hear it on the show, you're going to find it on one of those episodes. Especially ones that ask like more involved questions or Turtles come out and fight that, like they're going to be put over there.
Yeah.
So you can always go check those out.
Because I would love, what I want to do is I want to have a whole compilation. I'm going through all the episodes now and finding all this stuff. I want to have a compilation of all the Turtles come out and fight that and all that and get it in one place. And I think YouTube would be a good place for that. And so, so we're working on that, and that would helps us out. So, but thank you for writing anyway. And thank you to everyone who's sent us all the dozens of emails that we've received. We sincerely appreciate it. And I believe those two gentlemen are in totally different parts of the world from where we are and from each other. But you know where we all come together, Ryan, is on the journey. Can you tell us where we're at in the journey today?
Today, we are in 1993, actually. This is a bit of a bag of tricks.
Oh, yeah, it's a bag of tricks. I forgot.
Our current timeline has us at the end of 1997, technically. and stuff like that. But we went back to cover, this is the Mirage Comics Usagi Yojimbo volume 2. So this was in the Mirage like kind of volume 2 era. We're covering issues 1, 2, and 3 of Usagi Yojimbo from March, May, and July of 93 respectively, and that series is titled Shades of Green.
Yep.
And we're going to be covering all 3 of those today in a new kind of format. And if you have any kind of feedback on that, we're going to try to take a little bit of more of like a bird's eye view of the comic, getting a little bit more into like discussing the overall story, and then getting more into our thoughts and more into stuff like that, trying to focus more on that and less on like, say, going page by page. Right. So let us know what you think about the new format. It might be a little sticky when we do it. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to try that anyway. So let us know. But that's what we're doing today.
Yeah. So how you been, man? It's been a minute. It's been, I think, sometime
it's
in
been
December.
a minute. Yeah, we need that time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I have been doing well. I've gotten back into painting in a big way. I had before, but I'm really trying to stretch my boundaries. So I started painting models for this army for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which is their fantasy version. So there's like 40K, which is like the future with Space Marines and stuff, and then there's Age of Sigmar, which was old like Warhammer Fantasy, which is kind of where the game started.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, because originally Warhammer was just Warhammer.
Yeah.
And it was fantasy, and then the 40K was, different thing.
Right.
So I'm painting an army called Night Haunt. And I've loved the models since they came out.
Yeah.
They are basically ghosts.
Okay.
And they have like cloaks and stuff, and like they're almost like the classic guy stands under a sheet and he's a ghost kind of thing. Is what they look like. But their sculpts, if you look up Night Haunts, like their sculpts are really neat. Like they don't have feet.
Oh.
Like the way they're sculpted is like they're like tattered like cloth that they're wearing just goes to the base in little strips, and they're just floating there. They're super cool.
Oh wow, these are neat. Yeah, I just looked them up.
Yeah. Like they're really innovative. Like they don't really have like bodies either. It's just like cloth and like a skull head and some like bone arms that are holding a weapon, and they're very ethereal.
They kind of remind me of a little bit of like, what are the things called from Harry Potter that are like the Death Eaters or whatever those are called?
Yes,
Wraiths,
like those Wraith boys.
Yeah,
they're like that, where they're like very ghostly.
But then like if they get enlisted some of the punks with the Cyclops visors and stuff from Dark Knight Returns, like if those guys died and became these guys, like some death kind of guy, like this is what this looks like, and they look really rad.
Their whole like lore is basically that they Shayesh, who is like the kind of the god of like death in that universe.
Okay.
Basically any soul that he can get a hold of that did something good in their normal life, he makes them do the opposite in death. So like doctors and nurses and stuff like that are killing people, right?
That's neat.
Jailers become prisoners. There's like a model that is in like stocks, like he's all in stocks, like hanging there, and he was like a jailer in his past life, so now he's the prisoner. It's like twisted.
That is sick.
There's a model here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This is like one of the heroes. I don't know if you'll try to show it to you.
Oh, I can see him a little bit.
This is him.
Yeah.
You see how he's kind of floating. He doesn't really have like legs. He's just like
there's just
hanging
like
out.
Ethereal mist stuff like that keep him tethered to the bottom.
Yeah. So number one, they're super like they move around a lot because they're so thin, right?
Oh, of course.
But anyway, so I've
Like
been
me.
doing oh shit. No, you have a pretty robust bottom section. We talked about how you're a robot from the waist down.
That's
so
true.
I mean that's not really canon. But maybe when you're on like a food buzz.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
that makes
your boy's
sense.
food buzz. I'm like, where's Eric's legs? He's just like like a t-shirt, just like floating around, basically. So I'm doing a really cool thing where I'm basically doing a method where I'm under shading the model in black and white. Like you basically paint it up black and white, right?
Okay, gotcha.
It actually has given me a lot of ideas for doing black and white turtles.
Oh,
because this process, you're just working in black, white, and like just like shades of gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because it does things, but then you airbrush light colored glazes over it. So all
Oh,
the
okay.
undershading like shows through, but you're just like
Right.
tinting the model that color.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this thing where like they transition. I actually have a model here. I mean, this isn't like what I chose,
Yeah.
but it's like a test model.
Okay.
But you're not gonna
I
be
could
able to see it.
I could see some
But
light
there's
green looking stuff at least.
yeah, there's like a transition from like light green down to blue. So mine go from a light green teal all the way down to like purple.
Oh, neat.
They look very ghostly. It's hard to
Yeah.
describe. But I'm working on those, and that's kind of been my big thing. Is like I'm trying to stretch my boundaries and doing things I don't normally do. I usually paint very clean, and I'm trying to do a lot of things that are more experimental to stretch myself out. So that it was very frustrating because I was doing test model after test model after test model.
Yeah.
But I've got them pretty good. So I'm happy about that, and that's kind of been what's going on. The only other big thing is our cat always tries to get outside, right?
Yeah.
Like she's in that phase of like, I'm out, right? And she's crafty because she's 6 months old and she's like small and like pitch black.
Yeah.
So she hides in shadows and you just can't. Like she's just like, Zoop. And when she gets outside, especially out front,
right,
she runs under my car and you like can't get her.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. So I bought all these spray bottles on Amazon and I stationed them near like every exit to the house.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how like my kids have gotten like really good at it. Like they grab it and they've got it. And it's so funny how like it's like standing guard. Like we'll all be leaving the house, right? And like my daughter will get that spray bottle and she's got it held up like ready, like it's a firearm.
Right.
And she's like, all right, go. And everyone like leaves and she's like keeping it aimed on the cat, you know?
Yeah.
And then the best part is like she likes to get out when you come back in the house too.
Oh, of course.
So what I'll do is I'll take the water bottle and bring it out there with me. And then it's just chilling. And she thinks the water bottle's like gone, right? She's like, oh, like, ain't no water bottle, boy. So she'll like try to, and you just open that door a little bit and her little face comes out and you go, psh, and she's like, ah, like runs away. We've been doing that a lot. So it's been like a cat spray exercise, but you know, cats are so persistent that she's like, I'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
I'll try it.
Oh yeah.
Like why wouldn't I try it?
She did 2 today. She you know, she
basically
might do,
she did 2 today. That's exactly how that's yeah. She's like, you want yours? Get get behind them all.
Get behind them all. It's up there. Have you tried keys? Have you tried jangling your keys? Because
she doesn't care about that.
Okay, because like Cheeto will like straight up just like he will take. I'm trying to find. I'm trying not to use a pornography analogy, but he will straight up take it like a super soaker to the face. Like he don't care. Like he's just like just basking in it. Yeah, he'll get scared at first, like a little bit, but then eventually if he really wants it, he's just like, I don't care. Your water doesn't hurt me, and but you get those keys, and he's just like just everywhere.
That's
just,
weird.
What? And then he'll just take off.
Because so. I thought she wouldn't be scared of the water bottle because she would get up when we were doing dishes and I would like flick water at her face and she was just like, oh, come on now. And like she'd still be there. But the water bottle, I think it's the sound of it spraying and the spray.
Oh, it could be.
Gets her. Although when we left to go to lunch today, she took like 3 sprays, like where she took a spray and backed up like maybe a foot and then kind of came back in. And I'm like, oh. Right. So I hope it keeps working.
Yeah. The other thing I found was blowing, like blowing on them. Like they're like just blowing in their face. That seems to help a little bit, but
it's kind of hard, right? Because she's down by the ground. You can't
that's
really,
true.
Like, trying
that's
to
true.
Like, get around
you gotta
your
use
feet.
You got to use a straw. Like I should probably mention that. It's like a whole thing. So yeah, I look like the Ricola guy, and but it's like just a straw.
It's like a huge horn you just keep by the door.
Yeah,
she's like liquid. So like she'll try to get in our bedroom, and normally we don't care about that, except when I'm working on models. I have like all these little models like all over the place, and she'll like come up there and knock them over, and I can't have that, right? Because a lot of time the paint's still wet, so it's like you're gonna ruin them. Where she'll come up and like post up by the bedroom door, and I'll go to like use my foot to like try to get I'm not kicking. I need to be clear about this. I'm not kicking a cat. No, but you nudge a cat. You put like you place your foot against like their chest maybe, and you kind of just push away, like go back.
Yeah.
She just like basically like her legs will lift and she'll like wrap around your foot and like your foot goes through and it never met her body, and she's still right where she was. Yeah. Yeah. So you go to take another stab at it. You're like, no. And you aim up a little bit. And yeah, her body and her legs will like flow like black water, like over your foot. And like, she's just perfect at that.
Oh yeah. They're crafty.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Goodness.
So yeah, so that's kind of been that painting, and then trying not to have the cat come in and mess up my painting. That's been the struggle for me.
Yeah.
How about you? How you been?
I'm okay. I started Easy Opens back again, my YouTube channel where
I saw that.
Yeah, my dad had been telling me, like, every time I'd see him, he'd be like, "Hey, you know, this one video you did 5 years ago is doing pretty good." I'm like, "That's cool. Have you seen my new stuff?" No. Okay. So he hadn't watched the show, hadn't done.
Oh
it's
man,
like nothing. It's just always the old stuff.
He's like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah. Nothing but the hits apparently. And
ooh.
Yeah. So but that got me thinking. I was like, all right, well maybe I'll just try to appease him or do, I don't know. It just got in my head. And so I'm like, I'd been wanting to bring the channel back for a long time. It's just that my wife and I had been planning on moving, and it just didn't happen. And it just seems like, you know, it's been long enough now, and I don't know, it just, life happens. So we decided we're going to stick around for a while. So we emptied out our storage unit, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing it this year. So I'm going to start doing some stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a challenge. I'm using a lot of different equipment and different things, so it's a whole learning curve, but it's kind of fun but frustrating, like most things. I was able to get the I got them around here. So these things, let me get them out of the bag. I found the Dollar Tree, let's see if you can see them. The Dollar Tree brick figures that you build.
Yeah, that was a good video. We all linked that in this video so people can go see it. Yeah, I like that video a lot. You did a good job with that.
Well, thank you. They're kind of neat. They're just little minifigures that you build, and they're kind of like sort of Legos, but not quite. And got them at the Dollar Tree. Well, I did a review of it. Like Ryan just said, if you can go to it and subscribe and like it and all that, I'd appreciate it. But if you want them, and maybe some other Turtle Soup swag, you can be entered in to win them. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do it, and I think it's just subscribe and like on all of our stuff. I'm going to go look and see who's done it in the last like month or two, and just pick someone randomly. So so if you haven't liked anything recently, or if you haven't subscribed, or whatever the case may be, just do that, or send us an email. Just any interaction with the show or my YouTube channel, Easy Opens. That'll get you entered in, and then I'll send them to you with some Turtle Soup swag, and that'd be awesome.
Well, we might have to run it like this, maybe. I don't know if you're down with this, but it'd be like you got to go and subscribe and comment on Easy Opens.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was trying to say. Yes,
you got to hop over. You know what I mean? Like Turtle Soup, we love all your subs and all your stuff for Turtle Soup, but like we're trying to get Easy Opens maybe a little bit more visibility. So
true.
If you want to go over there and subscribe to that, do that, then maybe that would work.
There you go. Thank you. That's a more articulate way of what I was trying to say. But yeah, I've been doing that, and I'm trying to bring back or introduce to the channel me doing record reviews and things like that, because the two things I love a lot are toys and records. So figured why not, peanut butter and jelly kind of goes together. Well, that analogy doesn't really work with you, but other people it does. So so I'm trying to do that, and it's tricky because I have that thing where I want to be a little bit extra, but the little extra that I am, it ends up like I want to make it to where I'm in them now and stuff like that. But you forget that you had something in the background in 3 of the videos you shot, so it looks like you didn't. All that stuff. Like you don't want them to realize that you shot them all on the same day, but there's things you just forget, and it's just so frustrating trying to do that. And then you got to ask yourself, who cares? It's a whole mind game thing. It's wild. So I've just been dealing with that and trying to figure out how that's going to work. But the little bit that I've gotten done has been fun. The next reviews I did were this company put out some Santa figures. They put out a Krampus and a Cyborg Santa, and they're they're a lot of fun. And so it was really fun getting to open figures again and actually like take pictures and mess with your toys, And so that's been enjoyable. I'll say that.
Do you this is somewhat tangential, but do you have much experience with the toy company Joy Toy?
Joy Toy. That sounds vaguely familiar. What was this company called?
So they
no, that's a different
no, Joy Toy seems like they're pretty high end. So I just saw an unboxing of they've been doing like 40K toys, okay? And this ain't McFarlane. This ain't like anything you've seen. These things are ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
They are like, they come out the box like edge highlighted. The paint app is stupid. They put out a what's called an Invictor tactical war suit, which the idea of that is basically imagine like the thing that Ripley wears in Alien,
Oh, okay.
like a mech that you would wear. It's like that, the Space Marine version of that, and it is as big as like some. It's like more. It's like larger than someone's head, and it is gorgeous.
Oh goodness.
Like it's ridiculous, and it's really high end, which is why I was wondering if you knew anything about Joy Toy, because like given your toy connections, I saw a review and they're pricier. They're like $100-something for this thing, but I'm like, man, that thing is sick looking.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. Yeah, that's the thing. They look great. The problem is that if it's outside of if it's like over $100, usually I'm like out. I'm like no. And if it's not in 1/12 scale, I usually don't really. It doesn't show up on my radar very often. So
okay.
Yeah. So no, I feel like the company has like come up in like the zeitgeist recently enough where it sounded familiar, but I have no experience with them or anything. So, but that's the thing too, is that then once you start getting higher up on things like that, you get into third party companies that do different things, and it gets a little murky there with what's what and all that stuff. But there's you could pay some good money for some good stuff out there nowadays, especially with like 3D printing and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a wild place. Toy collecting.
Well, I went and picked up I found Renee at my Target. So I got her.
Okay.
And I think that's the most recent thing I got. So when your Target sucks for toys, it's actually it sucks all the time. So I'm not gonna give any illusions. But when you find something good, it makes it like Christmas.
Oh, it does. It totally does.
There has to be a name for that effect, right? Maybe like
there's a German
compound
word. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Like a German or a Japanese compound word where like it's like normally this sucks, but like you hate that, but then like you don't have a choice. But then like when you do find something, so like I'm just digging around, the same wing nut and screw loose that's been there for 2 months, and I'm like, well, no, I mean I did buy the other cool like ground chuck and dirt bag I found, and the who did the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang come with? Who did they? It was him and
it was Zach and Smash, and then there was those two, and then there was the gang member, and then there was a rock soldier, just a generic.
That's it. Yeah, the rock soldiers. Yeah, I got that. I got the neutrinos.
Oh, dang! Stuff like so you got yourself like a little collection there.
Yeah, no, I do. I have them sitting right here, and
that's awesome. I didn't realize you had that many.
So currently I have Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. I've got the Rock Soldier and Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang. I've got obviously Leatherhead from the game series. I got your boy, you know what I'm saying? He's here.
Yeah.
And then I got the neutrinos along with Baby Boy. And then I have Renee over there now, which I haven't opened her up yet. So I'm not being completist about it, but I told myself, like, at kind of toward the end of last year, I was like, you know what? We talk about these toys so much. Like, I am going to build a collection. I'm not going to be completist. I'm just going to get the ones I want.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? I think it's kind of weird that I don't have any turtles. That's kind of strange.
That is kind of weird.
but to be 100, I'll be honest, to be 100, like, they don't got them.
That's true.
Like, it sucks.
That's true.
But, like, if I saw turtles, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I think someone posted in our Facebook group, did you see those? I guess they were real, where they mispackaged the Stranger Things pack-ins, where it's just two turtles. Have you seen that?
Oh, I think that was where that was somebody that brought them back, that bought them, traded the turtle figures out, and returned them to the store, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a big problem with the action figure stuff, like collecting.
That's weak, dude.
Yeah, people.
I thought it was like a mispackage because they had it on the shelf.
Oh yeah. No, they'll just.
So
put
they
it
were
back
just
out.
trying to sell it again.
Yeah.
Oh, because they don't know.
They don't know.
Oh, okay.
They have no idea.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. The problem that the toy collecting community is facing now is that a lot of Hasbro stuff is coming in solid boxes. Like there's no window box, so you can't tell what's in the package. So you could open it, take the figure out, put another figure in, and your average store employee is not going to open the box to look into it and see if you did that. But yeah, that's a whole thing. So yeah, but no, that there's a whole couple of different pages that follow things like that are the returns that are fraudulent and where people have just swapped them. That's what just swap.
I mean, honestly, I feel like if you're a Turtles collector, that's a boon for me. I'd buy that if I saw that in the store.
Yeah,
they'd be like, "Well, I just want the Turtles. Like
right.
they're the newer Turtle sculpts. I'd take that."
Yeah.
And I don't need like 11 and Hopper from season 3 now that season 4 has been out for 6 months or a year.
Right.
Like that kind of takes that right out for me.
Yeah.
You know
occasionally,
what I mean? But I could see it.
Occasionally, there will be some people that put a swap another figure in, and it's like, oh well, no, yeah, I'll actually do that. I think I've seen that once where I was tempted, where I was like, oh, all right. But yeah, I've seen it a handful of times in real life, and yeah, it's
that's weird.
Well, the worst part is if you're actually looking for that figure. That's the worst. So your Target experience and you find something like the box of what you're looking for, open it up and it's something else. That is one of the worst feelings ever. And so,
no, I can imagine that, but you're like, okay, cool. Someone already got this and screwed me over. Basically, is what that is.
Oh yeah,
that's rough.
It is.
Ugh.
But oh man. Well, speaking of things that are not rough. Well, this isn't rough. That transition was rough. Yeah.
There you go.
That's
you made that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made your own luck on that one. Yeah.
You ready to get into these issues?
I am ready to get going.
All right.
Let's see here. So you started off. So here you go.
I do. All right. So we are going to be talking about Usagi Yojimbo, Volume 2, Issues 1 and 3. Well, 1, 2, and 3, I should say. Shades of Green, the storyline. And this is from March, May, and July of 1993. And the reason we're talking about this on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast is because I've heard rumor that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles appear in these books. So that would mean that we would talk about them. Now, real quick, so basically on this, this is not the first time that the Turtles have crossed paths with Usagi Yojimbo. They are known to do that quite frequently throughout all of their history, even from way back in the day. And speaking of, we're going to go back into the day and talk about it. So Usagi Yojimbo, for those who don't know, basically translates roughly to Rabbit Bodyguard. It's a book written and illustrated by Stan Sakai, and it was created in 1984, which I think... No, you and I both were already created by then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now these stories, they take place in a Edo era period, which is I think 1603 to 1867 our time, like in the real world, except in Japanese history, except that instead of humans doing all this, it's anthropomorphic animals representing the humans, and we'll get into more of that. Yeah, it's very cool, very good. And so he's got this stuff going, and he was an independent creator doing things for Fantagraphics, and I know Dark Horse is putting some of his stuff out and all this stuff, and I think currently he's with IDW and still putting out Usagi Yojimbo stuff, which is fantastic. Let's see what else is there. So yeah, the whole thing talks about Usagi Yojimbo's journeys through Japan and just his encounters and the people that, his friends and all the different things that he happens to find himself into, the misadventures of, if you will. And so he happened upon one Leonardo back in the day, Ryan. Back in 1987 to be specific, in a story called Turtle Soup and Rabbit Stew, which
we covered.
We did.
That's back in the Turtle Soup catalog.
It absolutely
dive back that far.
Oh yeah. And so this little story, basically to this story is that it happened as a result of the after effects from, you were mentioning Renee earlier in the episode, and Renee is a woman in the Turtles lore that she's a Time Lordess, if you will.
Yeah.
So she found herself getting the turtles and taking them back in time, and I think that's where they met the Aardvark, or not the Aardvark, Cerebus. That's his name.
Cerebus, yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking of Aardvark from back in the day. Yeah,
that's another deep cut. Yeah.
Another deep cut. So, so as a result of that time travel thing and then some other ones here and there, the excuse is that the after effects of that apparently only affected Leonardo, and they send him traveling to Usagi Yojimbo's world, essentially, because it's not quite our world. It's a different universe. Yeah. So he gets there, start fighting two different groups of enemies, and then once they're all just finished with each other, they turn on each other and realize, oh wait, now I guess we're enemies too. So they go to fight. Leonardo disappears, and Usagi's left cursing ninjas because he always hates ninjas. And so, and Leo's just back in New York. So that was the first time. Then Usagi met Leo again back in, let's see, a story called The Crossing from Usagi Yojimbo #1, Volume 10, August of 1988. And in this story, Usagi is telling a story about how he was making fun of a fat priest that was sitting by a river, who is later to be revealed as Leonardo. Usagi remembers their previous encounter, and they fight, but they end up becoming friends. This is all just a real quick version of that story. And that's the second encounter. Then the third encounter with Leonardo again specifically, which is odd that this is the only time that he's the only turtle that it was affected by the after effects of Renee. This third time though was published in Shell Shock, which was December of 1989, in a story called The Treaty. Now, Shell Shock is a compilation of short turtle stories. We need to go back and check and make sure that we've covered all of them. I know we've covered some of them because they've been collected throughout in all kinds of different ways. But one day we're going to get to that to make sure. But nevertheless, The Treaty is one where, while getting some pizza for the family, Leonardo yet again is transported back to Usagi's world, and finding Usagi being attacked by the Neko Ninja, who we'll see in these issues today. He's being attacked by them for having the treaty, and so they want this treaty. Leo assists Usagi while trying to explain a little bit about where he comes from, like what New York is and some of the buildings and things like that. And Usagi's just completely what? What new mystery is this? What sorcery? And so anyway, they recover the treaty, long story short, and Leo is mysteriously transported back to New York. According to one of our favorite websites and an excellent source of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knowledge and information, and basically should be your #1 go-to guide for anything Turtles, is tmntentity.blogspot.com. According to them, they say that these crossovers are all canon and officially recognized in TMNT Volume 4, but we have a little bit of a ways before we get there, here in the journey for Turtle Soup. So all of that happened. Eventually, it's all solidified and canonized, but we're not there yet. But still, we're gonna treat it as canon, because why not? So so basically that's where we're at today. The Turtles, Leonardo's met Usagi 3 times, and this is gonna be the 4th time, and now he gets to meet presumably the rest of the family. I don't know. So Ryan, are we ready to get into this #1 issue? Let me go ahead and get over that.
We are ready. So this is, Mirage Usagi Yojimbo Volume 2, issue #1 from May of 1993. Eric, what you got on this cover, buddy?
Man, this cover is awesome. I love it. Usagi, there's something about Usagi that is just his design. I'm just always been a fan of.
It's fascinating. It's fascinated us since we were kids, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even before I knew he was his own comic character, I just thought he was a character on the show, on the Ninja Turtles 87 animated series. Loved it. And then this is great because Stan Sakai does action in such a weird, cartoony way, but it's not. That doesn't take away from it. It only adds to it and makes it be oh, that's a cute, sort of cutesy looking cartoon character that's being sliced up. Okay, there's not really any blood, but the emotion that you get in there, you still feel like it connected and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of this. Essentially what we're looking at, though, is the Neko Ninja Clan fighting Usagi and his friend Gen, who is falling off of a cliff into some water. And it's got the Mirage masthead, which looks really cool. Mirage Volume 2 masthead, I should say. And then the Usagi Yojimbo title up there looks really awesome, and just looks really good. There's something just classy
it looks
about
good.
Usagi.
So what I like about it, the thing I like most about it is normally covers get kind of like spiced up. You have someone come in, you do a cover, it's all crazy.
Yeah.
This is just looks like it's just from the book.
Absolutely.
Which normally I'm a little something for that cover. But in an era of covers, wow, where it's just, I like the fact that it's just what you get. It looks almost like the cover of a trade. You know, often like with trades, a lot of times like they do just kind of, it's like kind of the art, right? Like it just kind of is what it is. I like that. So I like it that it's not like, you know, that they let Sakai do the cover, and it's just cool.
Oh,
you know, it's just a bigger version of what you get in the comic, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I don't think that I think I've only seen a handful, if any, of Usagi Yojimbo's covers that aren't done like this. There's been a few collected editions that have like some like finer painting on it, but I don't even know if Stan Sakai might even have done those, and he just used different materials. I don't know, but generally they're all like this, and I'm a huge fan of this. So
nobody draws Usagi like Stan Sakai.
No,
that's I think why it's cool to have the covers be his work, right?
Absolutely.
So we get going. So once again, guys, new format. We're trying to kind of get a little more into this, quicker through the story, hitting the high points, and then getting into more of discussion. So this comic kind of, once again, being our opener, right, kind of opens on a situation where Usagi and Gen are ambushed on a mountain path by ninjas we come to find are from the Neko clan. There's a really cool splash page where you see kind of like this mountain pass, and we are our story title, Shades of Green. And we see kind of how they're sorry, there's something in my mouth. Weird. So that's strange. So we kind of see that they're fighting these guys, and they have no choice but to jump down off of this like river, down into this river from this like mountain path. And they jump in there, and when they kind of wash up, Usagi kind of mentions that, that in his story, which had happened previously, he had actually fought beside the Neko clan in battle, as allies.
Right.
And that he was kind of like confused as to why they were being attacked. And Gen kind of believes that, well, I mean, like, they're against us now. So, he's like, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. He kind of says, like, it seems like they were guarding this area, like less than they were coming after us. So like we wandered into the area we can't be in. And at that point, castle doctrine, basically.
Exactly.
So what happens is when they wash up, they hear a noise in the woods, like in the underbrush, and they're like, "Oh, be quiet." You know what I'm saying? And then gets right to the chase. A character that we know as Splinter shows up, looks a lot like Splinter. And there's a fight, and he basically whips Usagi and Gen's ass right now
with that burnt Cheeto.
With that burnt Cheeto, and man, I love the way that Stan Sakai draws Splinter. Like that is just so awesome.
It is so good. Yes, I am a huge fan of this. Yeah. Oh, and before, real quick, just to let everyone know, we probably should do this too as we meet the characters in this. So Gen is a rhinoceros, and the Neko clan are cats. So they are Neko means cat in Japanese, and
there you go.
So and then obviously Splinter's a rad rat dad. So and then Usagi's a rabbit. So there you go. But yeah, no, I love this.
What I love the most about it is how Sakai is drawing Mirage, like Eastman and Laird Mirage Volume 1 Splinter.
Oh yeah.
He's not drawing a rat sensei, right, in his style, because he would look very different.
He would look
right,
different.
like he would look way different. I love that it is his version of their version of a rat sensei.
Yeah,
and for some reason that's so dead on to me. That's like so correct.
Absolutely.
So he has like a lot of people back in the day criticized the art, saying that he looked Splinter looked more like a dog than a rat, right? And that kind of iconic image of Splinter has stayed, but even down to the fact that his face is always shadowed.
Oh yeah,
like you notice that on the art there, he if you look, here's the next page.
He
always has that. It's kind of like a shadow, maybe the first darker there, but he keeps looking like Sakai drawing Mirage Splinter, and I love that. I love that
so
aesthetic.
Much. Yes,
it makes him really stick out, and I really love it.
Yeah.
So, they meet Splinter, but he gives his name as I'm going to pronounce it Kakera. Is that
sounds about right?
Kakera, yeah. So he says his name is Kakera, and you're kind of like, well, that's weird because I thought he was Splinter. And he's kind of like acting like he's already recruited Usagi and Gen for this task for something he's gonna do.
Right.
And they're a little annoyed, but he's like, yeah, so we'll go back and get some food. You know what I mean? And they're like,
yeah,
I guess, man, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's where like this Kakera character definitely starts to like institute a little bit of like he's in charge of stuff, right? Like he's like, this is all happening. You're just a part of it.
Right.
So they go back to a small town where they dine and stuff, and then eventually they're like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, talks about the Neko clan and how they've surrounded this village. And they're like, why'd you do that? Like, why would they do that? And they're like, well, they're after me. And you're kind of like, oh, dramatic.
Yeah. Why do they want him?
Yeah. So elsewhere, we meet some pretty cool characters in Shizu and Gunji. Gunji, I don't know. Like these are all these names.
Yeah.
Shizu is a female cat. She is the current leader of the Neko clan. They kind of there's obviously a power struggle kind of starting from the beginning. So Gunji is a guy, and he's a jerk. Just spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He doesn't like so what happened basically to get you back here is they talk about all this. That Shizu's brother was the leader of the Neko clan, and he died in combat. Now, Shizu and Gunji, they were both the same rank. They were basically captains, more or less, right? Or executive officers, as I guess Stan Sakai says. They were captains of individual probably groups of ninja. And Shizu's brother was Jonin, is that his name? Trying to think of right now.
Yonin.
Well, Jonin's the role.
Yeah.
So he was the leader.
Yeah. So they were Chunins or Shunins.
Yes.
Chunin, and then he was a Yonin. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the leader. He dies in combat, and because everyone's the same rank, Blood says that Shizu is the new leader, right? The new Yonin. Yeah. But Gunji's like, we're the same rank. Like, what gives you that right? Blood's stupid. Why would you do that? And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Blood's stupid. Like Blood doesn't justify why you get the job and I don't.
Yeah, no.
Especially because they're really picking apart one big issue. Gunji is like, we need to go get Kakera, right, our Splinter, because he has powers that can help us rebuild our clan because we had awful losses in this battle. And this is the battle that Usagi references earlier, like that they fought together in. And it was epic as hell, right? Like they were fighting these like...
And Usagi mentions the brother, like he knew the brother. Yeah,
he knew the brother and had a connection, which also makes him feel a little bad that the Neko clan attacked them because he's like, dude, like I got one-on-one contact with this boy. Like, why are his guys attacking us? Yeah, and he seems to be unaware that the power structure has changed. So Gunji sounds like and they don't really talk about this. But it sounds like he kind of like made the order for the Neko clan to go and surround this village and basically besiege it. That's what they're doing. They're not allowing anyone into the village or out of the village. And this is obviously a problem because Shizu doesn't want that to happen. Like she says that honestly, like it's not worth, like we'd have to destroy the whole village to limit the witnesses and all this crap like that. And I don't want to do that. And I'm in charge. And he's like, oh, are you? Well, you're going to ruin our clan because we can't replenish our numbers without Kakera. So how about we fight about it? And Shizu's like, you're on, baby.
Yeah.
And Gunji follows. I mean, spoiler too. Your boy Gunji is also hella sexist. Like he's just like straight up like a woman. Well, he actually uses the word Kikuchi or what a Kunuchi. Yeah, in there. Yeah, what?
Yeah, I think you said it right. Kunichi. I think that's
Kunichi.
Right.
Yeah, which we learned about back in Image.
Yeah, with
TMNT Image comics. Which is how you refer to women, ninja, and stuff like that. He's like, no, 9 holes, absolutely not. Yeah. You can't be leader of the Neko clan.
Yeah.
And so they go to, fight it out. So kind of during this, when they pop outside, we see that there's these 2 anthropomorphic ninjas. I didn't put this in the notes, so I didn't know if you could like flip to that page real fast. That was kind of funny. little bit of a there we go.
The
So
bat
these
spies.
two anthropomorphic ninja bat boys flying
Yeah.
around, running that spy plan, and we learn that they're from the Komori, who are a rival ninja clan that has kind of fallen into better favor than the Neko clan recently. You kind of talk about this too, and they're rivals. And Shizu's not that worried, but like Gunji's like, dude, they're a problem. And then here they show up, so it's like he's like kind of getting proven right again, right?
Yeah.
And I love the design for these bats because they're bats, and they have gis on, but they also have bladed wings.
Yeah,
and that's just cool as hell.
It is. It's really neat.
That.
Yeah,
I'm with that. So of course the duel's not going to go down. So they basically fight these guys to stop them from escaping, and slay them. This causes Shizu to declare war on the Komori outright for this transgression. And I'm like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
War on two fronts.
Mm-hmm.
So we pop back to the small village, and Kakera is explaining more to Usagi and Gen about the situation, saying that there are just a couple of the people who were summoned here to be part of this whole thing, and that there are samurai on the way that he's summoned, and he kind of intimates that like he can twist fates a little bit. So the fact that like Usagi and Gen jumped in the river and washed up here, well, that's how you were summoned. And they're a little bit like, okay, man, like that. I don't know about that. Like that's weird. When a boy comes through the door and he's like, oh, hey, sensei, I found these bags. And Kakera's like, oh, I hate to think of what's in that bag. And I'm like, what's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag? it's just like
it's people.
It's the heads of samurai. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Neko clan went ahead and bundled those bad boys up and just put them around the riverbank to say like, absolutely not. So Kakera knows that, like, shit got real, so he's like, okay, I gotta do it. You know what I mean? They made me do it. Go get me some turtles. I need 4 small turtles. Y'all want to see a trick? Y'all want to see why they want some of this Kakera in their lives, why they're sieging this town?
Yeah, he literally says that. Why? Now you'll see why. Now you'll find out why they want me. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're like, let's do it.
Now you'll find
so,
you're gonna learn today.
So, this art's good too. So we need to watch this. I have it on here. So he gets the turtles, and they're like, okay, cool. And he starts like humming, which I love it because the way that Sakai illustrates his chant, it's not in words, it's just in like these like dashes. Like you can't understand what he's saying. I love that.
Oh yeah.
This page is bad as hell. This whole page is beautiful.
It's so good.
It's a big splash of this whole thing going down. And what you're on right now, I particularly love, which is the white relief image, black and white, for like, you know, how bright that light is of Usagi and Gen. That's so good.
Oh yeah.
And I love the way he illustrates, Splinter, Kakera, here. Yeah, it's super cool.
It is excellent.
And he runs some sick business on this magic. So and all of a sudden, the 4 little turtles become the TMNT, complete with red bandanas and everything. And that's how they end issue 1. Like this splash is so good.
Yeah.
So you see, you see like out of this like really mystical, it almost looks like the Technicolor Dreamcoat almost.
Oh yeah.
Thing that's coming up. The turtles are kind of warped into existence. With Kakera, screaming like Kame, which is
turtle.
Turtle, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden we have them. So we know a little bit by like what they say on this last page that it is our 4 turtles. Like they're literally speaking English and using like words. Like they've been transported here to take the body of these 4 turtles. And that's the comic. That they end it just like that. You've got your boy and there we go.
That's it. Yeah.
So I thought this was a cool like intro issue. The art's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
So good. And yeah, I think it did a good job of kind of setting up the conflict, right? You've got the Neko clan who really want Kakera. You now know why they want him, because he can literally turn whatever animals. Remember too, right? Like we're in Usagi's universe where and they're going to get into this later in your issue, how like there are animals and then there are
Yes.
people animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can just take little animals and make them anthropomorphic human animals, which is a huge deal. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like
It
that is a
is.
big deal, especially when you're trying to refill your numbers from your war losses rather instantly. He could literally make you an army. Like you're not a clan anymore. You are a full-fledged army. Kakera could do this with his magic instantly, more or less.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah.
just
So what do you
wild.
think overall?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really neat seeing Kakera, which it translates to splinter or shard of wood or splinter of wood. That's what the Japanese is for it. Thought it was neat. It was a little weird because I was like, why they don't explain a lot, and I think that's a thing in manga style stuff that like in Japanese writings, because I'm reading the manga for Kamen Rider, and a lot of the times they just kind of like overlook some stuff just to keep the story going, and that seems like a thing. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting, and I'm also interested in the fact that this is like a number one, so yeah, and it continues from the like other stories that have happened, so it's
that's huge. Yeah, it's this all happened, like everything that's been published before is in this continuity,
right? And
which is awesome.
Oh, definitely. But it's just interesting that it's just like you start out the gate with this. Like here's a character that looks like a character but it's not. But he has the name similar, and that all this stuff. It's very interesting. But again, I love Stan's style. I love I love the way he writes. I don't know that I can articulate it correctly. Or accurately, but like he has this like well-roundedness to him that he can be serious and have some dark stuff and have some real stuff, intense stuff happen. Same issue, same page, panel, whatever. He can have it be like jovial and like just very like funny and all this stuff, and he's just very well balanced, and I love it. And I haven't come across a Usagi Yojimbo story that I haven't liked. And I've read quite a bit of volume 1, and I've enjoyed everything so far, and this is great. And just, it's really good. And his turtles so far look interesting. I like them, but I think they're meant to be, especially right here, to look a little weird, a little different. Because they just transformed. But my favorite thing, not my favorite, but one of my favorite things about Stan Sakai is that he does things when he does cute really well. So all the little creatures, and even Usagi will sometimes get this look on his face. Yeah. But it's very simplistic, but it's just it's so good. It's just the faces on the turtles, just 2 dots and then a line, which
it's so clean.
Oh, it's so clean. And if you didn't know, his signature is also that kind of look, but it's for Usagi. His signature right there is the rabbit, but it's the simplified version. Love that so much. It's so good. And so I really enjoyed this. I'm invested. I want to know more of why they want Splinter. I want to know I want to see all the power struggle with the Neko clan. Like, I'm very vested into this. And I think the one thing that makes this something that gets your attention, right, at least for me, is that I want to see what new characters come in and what animal they are, like, and what designation they get, like how that all works. Like, that's just one of the other properties do this, like Beast Wars did it. There's a myriad of them that do it, and I love it. There's something really really cool about that motif and the way that they do it, but. And Turtles does it for not quite as smooth as like,
I mean,
on
in
the
the
nose.
Avengers universe, there were a ton of anthropomorphic animals that had their thing. Also, I mean, one of our favorites ever, Black Sad, did
absolutely.
a lot in this territory of different animals are different. They have different kind of traits depending on what animal they are, and archetypes. Is really cool.
Oh yeah. Now, there is a backup in here called Jizzo, which was my name in my rap group I was in.
It was.
It was. I was the male version of Lizzo, but I was just Jizzo, and and it's really good. There's nothing pertaining to the turtles in it, but if you do decide to purchase this in some form or fashion, because I'm sure it's been repressed multiple times, definitely worth your read. Really good stuff, and so well, You ready to move on?
Ready to hop into issue 2? So your
I
wish
like
is fulfilled. You're like, man, I'm invested. I want to get in.
I want to get in.
wish I could get that number 2. Well, guess what?
Here we are.
It's happening.
I'm hopping in like a rabbit does. Here
Hop
we are.
in.
Number 2.
Whoa.
Number 2. We got 2 people on the cover, Ryan. What do you think of this cover?
I like it a lot. Once again, it is very like just kind of Stan Sakai art. I do see, obviously like a little extra time spent in shading and stuff like that. I believe I see some digital airbrush application.
It seems
I'm
like
pretty
it's there.
sure
Yeah.
on Leo. But then again, it is Usagi. First of all, it's very cool. Yeah, you just have like kind of Leo is down. There's blood down there. There's like throwing stars on the ground. And he's kind of down, and Usagi's kind of backing him up, kind of like, fending off these blades that are coming from outside the image. I love the all black background.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
We attempted to do like a cool gradient, bro, but sometimes like just that lack of that is awesome. It's super stark. That's why I love it. In particular, I really like the Usagi Yojimbo masthead.
I do too.
Like, I love the title block, and that shade of purple is really cool in Usagi. And in general, once again, normally I'm like, hey, let's bump that cover up a little bit. Let's get real dynamic, right? Like we just got done doing Image, and Image has so many awesome dynamic covers. But sometimes that could just be too much. Sometimes if you're always overamping the cover, you're never overamping the cover. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, if you like everything, you like nothing kind of situation. And here it's like the artistic choice to have just the pure black background is great. And once again, standard kind of interior art sells the book for me because it's a different look. It's neat. I like this cover a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I love like just his take on the turtles. Just looks different enough to where it does. It's his style, but it's also like otherworldly. Like you can tell that they don't belong there.
Yeah.
So it's
the shading on Splinter and the Turtles in these books, they're Mirage like duo shading. Like they're not Stan's style of shading at all.
Right.
Like they look like they're from another place.
They do.
Like nobody shaded like that. Like look at the way that Leo shaded on this cover.
Yeah.
Very hash style, like Leo, like Kevin and Peter do. Look at Usagi.
Yeah, clean.
No, it's just black lines. There's like no shades. And I love it. I think it's actually really cool.
It's so good. And so, big fan of this. So, well, here we are, number 2. Just picking up right where the last one left off. The turtles are here in Usagi's world, and they're getting their bearings. They're trying to figure out that, like, what's going on. Because just imagine this. Like, I'm assuming that, like, Kakura's power is that he can, anthropomorphize animals, but also pull from, there's something there that, and we might find out about it here in a bit. We'll talk more about it, but like, nevertheless, you are just all of a sudden and then all of a sudden you're in another world where you're seeing your rad rat dad, but that's not your rad rat dad. He doesn't respond to that. And, then you see your rabbit friend. It's a whole thing. So I don't know. I just love that they just get thrown into this and it's just like, what? So the turtles are ready to start fighting because remember, so basically I told you that it was always Leo who's been had this happen
every time. Yep.
Now Leo didn't have the turtle transformation or at least from what we saw. It wasn't that a turtle was just around and then all of a sudden Leo appears. He just showed up there. However, that could have been the case. I don't really know, but here is the case with them, and Leo's still just like, okay, this is familiar enough to where I'm not as blown out as the other dudes are, and so they're ready to start busting some heads because they want to know what's up, and so they there's a ruckus that's kind of going on, but then all of a sudden, it's like Leo's like, hey, hold on, everybody, no, I know him, I know the long-haired one, or the long-eared one, and which is what they call Usagi a lot. And because he's like, oh hey, it's been a long time, and he calls him Leonardo-san and all this stuff. So there's like they recognize each other, and I'm a huge fan of continuity. Continuity goes a long way with me. Like if you can have like some garbage stories, but if you have things that pay off and that connect and just last for a very long time, you can overlook a lot of stuff. And this was fantastic. Like I love how the other turtles are like, wait, what? Like, so the way what's inferred here, and actually I think what they even say is that they're like, oh, Leo was telling the truth this whole time. Because think about it. So you have a brother. If you were transported to another world or another universe or whatever it is, and you saw an anthropomorphic rabbit samurai and you had adventures with him, and you came back and told Shane, your brother, like, and he didn't believe you. And then all of a sudden he goes with you the next time. Like, that's kind of what's happening here. They're like, oh,
Absolutely.
he wasn't, oh, this is the guy he was talking about. He wasn't lying. I love how they think Leo of all the turtles would be lying about this. I mean, it does kind of sound like a dream Leo would have, that, the tortoise and the hare
it does
fighting.
like that.
But nevertheless, I would like to think that Leo would get a little bit more clout from the rest of the fellas. But, what do I know? Brothers are a weird thing, I guess. But everyone's like blown out by this. Like, oh, okay. So we're friends here. So, that's kind of what's going on. So they, Kakera explains the situation. The Neko clan wants him for his powers, which are essentially, like you were saying, is this, that he can bring other characters and bolster armies, essentially. And so at this point, we realized, as he's explaining all this, that there are some Neko spies in the village trying to figure out what's going on. They realize they've been discovered, so then they take off. One of them dies in their escape, and then the surviving Neko spy makes it back to their base and informs everyone on the situation. And so they
in particular, like there's an art thing I wanted to talk about just for a second. Where they run, so there's this shot they get where they run all the bottom panels together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could pull that up or not. Yes. So it's when Leo's following this Neko clan guy, right?
Oh,
as he's on the run, and these bottom panels. I know it's a small thing, but it just like someone had to actually do that, right?
Yeah.
But what's really neat is they link the image of Leo up in a tree, just like watching, right? Is all through the panels. But if you notice, like, he's watching this guy jump from place to place, and the Neko clan's action is always different in the panel, but the element of Leo leaning against a tree is all the same. And I don't know. I always loved like as long as we've done this show, I always like to point out like really creative panel layouts and things you could do to tell a story. And this is definitely like one of the coolest ones I've seen. I love it.
I love it too. I think it's fantastic. And I didn't notice it necessarily when we first read through it. But here and with what you just said, I think it's illustrating two things. One, it's illustrating that Leo is just like staying still.
Yeah.
And just not moving.
He's a rock.
At all.
Yes.
The other thing I think it's illustrating, and I might be extrapolating a little bit too much or thinking too much about it, but Leo makes mention that this Neko clan spy, he took a lot of time to give Leo the runaround. So like basically finding ways to circle back and stuff to keep throwing anyone that might have been following him off the trail.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here, because Leo got to a higher vantage point in a tree.
Yes.
Saw that this cat dude's just like he looks like he's going in a certain direction, but he's actually just making a circle, and then he's keep making a slightly different circle each time, and then he's going to find his way to his place. So that's wonderful. Like I love it so much. It's just the subtle things like that. The subtle things like that just really go a long way.
It's really good.
And on the same page, we have one of the other hallmarks of Stan Sakai. It's this dinosaur looking thing, which I think it has a name. It's called Tokage, which translates to lizard. Now, normally the one that's in here is always green. This one's purple, but the green one's been in here. I think it's shown up a few times already. But so this is so Leo's just hunt on the prowl, just watching, just looking, trying to figure out where this guy's going, where this cat's going, if you will. And so they followed him back, but and Leo eventually gets to where he's like, oh, I see the fortress. Like he finds it, but he realizes that there's like a tripwire and all this other stuff, so it's too well guarded. So I'm gonna back up and I'm just gonna go find the boys, and we'll come back. So at this point, we realize that we're inside, and this is another one of my favorite panels, because ninjas do this all the time, and it's one of the things that like if there was a ninja brochure like if you get to the airport, you know how in like in all the old movies, the airports, like in Airplane, how they had all the different religions trying to recruit you and stuff like that. So I would like to think that like but this is in the 80s, so I mean, or the 90s, so I mean, it could have still been that way too. But if there's a ninja clan that's trying to recruit you, and they're like, "Yo, look, we stand on banisters and rafters and all this cool stuff, like in houses and shit, man. Like we're just up there, like no one looks up." No one looks up, man. We're just hanging.
No one looks up. We're always here.
We're always here. When we're here, we're here. So I'm like, that's awesome. That would get me to be like, well, I'll take a pamphlet. I'm gonna give it some consideration.
I'll think about it. I can see myself on a banister, like looking down on someone. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, I think that's awesome. They're like, look at page number 2. Like we'll show you images of it, and I'm like, oh snap.
Also, what's really kind of sweet and funny about this is that like they're cats. So cats in particular, like they absolutely would have all of them up in the rafters and no one's on the ground. Why
that's
be on
so
the ground?
good. That's so good, Ryan.
That's so smart.
I would not. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. And I've been talking about how these are cats this whole time, and I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant. I love Stan Sakai so much.
Good.
He's so good. He's so good.
If you had like a set of like cat ninjas and they were to meet in some like abandoned temple, they would all be up in the rafters.
All of them. Yeah. So good. So good.
Love
and so this spy comes back and explains that the other one died. His partner died. And which I want to go back real quick if you'll permit me. Stan Sakai does this. We'll see it a few times. But we talk about this in our animated series coverage of the 87 series. Well, actually, no, it was same character, the foot soldier. That's the oh goodness, it's kind of like the master mold of the foot soldiers. I forget what he looks like, the bigger one with one way or the other. In the Adventures book, he does this. Okay. He does when he talks, it's the death bubble. Do you remember that?
Yes. Okay.
Well, Stan Sakai does something similar. When people die, they have this.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a second to get where you were going.
Sorry. I was
the master mold. Like what are like? Is this a conspiracy theory? Like what are we doing?
No. So he does this thing, and I love this so much. Like
that's a consistent thing. If you die, you are whispering death, basically, like a skull.
Right.
Super cool.
Now, the thing I want to check on, which I didn't before, and I'm not sure if we're going to get an opportunity to, is if the skull that we see here, if the skull always matches the animal. So this is a cat that's died, so you can kind of see some protrusions coming out of the skull that I don't know if cats have ears or bones in their ears or whatnot, but like
they absolutely don't have bones.
I know. I'm playing it up, but like nevertheless, it doesn't totally look like a human skull, but it's not too dissimilar. But nevertheless, I think it would be
the little green dinosaur lizard is in issue 2 earlier when the ambush happens, like when the spies get caught by the farmer guards. He's on the bottom of page 4 and he's like eep, like he's down there, like he does, like there he is. Yeah, Tokage. I was looking back to look at more death bubbles.
Yeah.
To like see if any of them were different.
Right.
When I saw him and I was like, oh, I gotta tell Eric because that boy's in there.
Well, I'm glad you did, because this is another thing that I again to the Stan Sakai just runs the gamut of like really awesome detailed stuff, and then the very simple stuff just looks fun and really good. Like I just enjoy this simple version of Leonardo.
Yeah.
Like it looks there's something to it, but it's just there's something so cute about it that it just like I don't know, it just hits me. I don't know, it just gets me. So anyway, but there he is, Takage saying "eep," and so anyway, I just wanted to illustrate or bring that to light that he does that, and that's another Stan Sakai thing, and I love it so much. The what do you call it? Whispering death. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, whispering.
Oh,
so like their last little utter. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, it's like they're whispering a skull.
Yeah,
like there. It's cool because. It just, the word bubble feels like it's a whisper.
It does.
To me, just the way that it's drawn, but yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So yeah, well, back to the story. The Neko clan is being informed about what happened. And what's his name again? Gunjin.
Gunjin, yeah.
Gunji, that's it. Yeah, Gunji.
Yeah.
He's there, and he's being informed from the rafters what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And being told, all right, so yeah, he's like, I'm overseeing the operation. You report to me. You know, a ninja's duty in life is death. I thought that was pretty badass when one of the other ones says that.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So then let's see, where were we at? I gotta find my notes again. All right, so he informs that them that basically they're plotting to use these acts of aggression to win favor with the Neko clan over Chizu. Like this is part of his coup.
Yeah.
That he's trying to bolster the army's opinion of him, as opposed to Chizu, who's like kind of being more of a pacifist or just taking a relaxed approach to everything.
More of the like honorable route, and he's just like, honor means nothing if you don't have an army, and by doing this, I'm gonna convince him I'm a better leader than you, right? Like, which is kind of crazy, and she's powerless to stop it, I guess, because he does have some authority. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you have two people that were generals, and like, do you follow your general, or there's a whole lot of emotional.
Who are you loyal to?
Exactly. So anyway, we cut back to our heroes in the village, and Usagi Yojimbo's really kind of talking to Kakura about like the how useful farmers are, like in regards to, not in general because farmers are very useful, but here in this instance they're being used as guards, like sentries, to just make sure that like nobody's breaking in, and just kind of keep everybody up to date and just make sure that no one's breaching the walls.
I get the feeling here that they were like considered, like in this use, a little sacrificial. Almost like they're like tripwires, because if they're going up against the Neko clan ninjas, if they find one, and we see this happen earlier with the spies, like someone's gonna die.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they're putting perimeter guards around for them to basically scream when they see a Neko guy, so they know to run over there.
Goodness,
so
I
think that's I think that's a little bit of what Usagi's questioning. He's kind of like, why? So I get it, but why are they all around? Like, you're using them as like tripwires, but it costs their lives, like when they do it, right? Like that. Like, why are we doing this?
Kakura says, they're like, these are farmers, not warriors. They do what they can, and in the context of what you just said, all they can do is scream, and that's all Kakura really wants them to do, is to let him know, like, wake me up. You know what I'm saying? And
wake me up. Can't wake up.
That Goofy remix, goodness.
I tell you, it's great.
Gorsh. So so he's so that they're going over about that, but then Kakura explains that he I'm sorry, let me continue with what Yosagi's talking about. So he's talking about the usefulness of the farmers and the perimeter guards, and he questions Kakura, why doesn't he just use his magic to spy on the Neko clan? And Kakura explains that that Usagi misunderstands his powers, and that he is, quote, in sympathy with the tides of nature, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So
I took that to kind of mean like, I work with like the natural world, so like animals and their spirits and like creatures.
Yeah.
I can't just like go on the astral plane and go float over to the Neko clan and like watch what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's not really like what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's like, that would be
absurd.
You know what
I mean?
Like this isn't a comic book.
I don't have that power set, bro.
No,
what do you think this is? Superman shit?
No. What do you think this is? Mirage? Oh.
Yeah, what do you think this is?
Oh, snap.
Oh.
So then we cut back to Michelangelo and the rest of the boys, and this is great. Mikey's like all about this place. He's like, this place is fantastic. It's just like 17th century Japan, except with animals instead of humans. And then that one of them, they talk about being evolved and stuff like that. Like, how did they evolve? Why is a horse, but a rabbit a person? And Usagi's just like, what do you mean evolve? Like, I don't understand. We are all creatures.
Yeah, I like that they have like no concept of what Mikey's talking about, because they know no different.
Because
that's
like,
what do you mean?
What they know. Yeah, that's the norm. He goes, I don't understand. We are all creations of the gods, as are all things around us. And that's a very interesting like take on it. But I love that Mikey's observation is, there's a horse that rabbit rides, and the horse is a horse, but the rabbit's a person. Why is that?
Yes. No, actually, I like that conversation a lot. Because I mean, I like it because that's if you bring in characters from outside the universe, that's exactly what they would start saying. They'd be like, wait a minute. So there's little turtles and then there's turtle people. I don't understand.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. So Mikey keeps pressing the issue from a point of superiority and or being more civilized. And Gen isn't having it. And he says, hey, at least we wear clothes, which just boom, Gen just won this bitch. Like that's it. Like, the turtles are completely just immodest and just no clothes. Like that's got to be weird for from Usagi's point of view, is that, oh, these dudes are just walking around naked. Like, I'm surprised he didn't address that. But I guess he's a little bit more like respectful and considerate of other people's. Like, I don't know what your culture is, but here we wear clothes, and apparently where you're from, you don't. You let your front tail hang out. So, yeah. So where are we at? So so just then, as all this is transpiring, a fire is used as a diversion, and the Neko clan attacks. Some of the Neko ninja are appear on one side of the village to draw the TMNT, Usagi, and Gen over there. And they're just like, all right, we gotta get going. So they take off and just see like the fire. Oh, this broke my heart. You're reading about the fire, and you see down here that like this farmer's like, oh shit, that's my house. And Usagi grabs the guy before he can go, and is like, no, it's gone. It's too late. You'll be killed. Like, no. And he's like, but everything I owe. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah, no, I understand. Kind of shows like the kind of like the human cost of conflicts like this, right? Like, and Shizu kind of mentioned it before, where like sieging and going into a village and killing all those people and destroying everything just to get one guy is like really intense.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like a it's a fantasy story. Like this really affects like all these people, and I think this is a cool moment of seeing like how regular people are affected by all this crap that's going on.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, is that Stan has a way of zooming in and out in the story, but doesn't let you forget that like there are other casualties to all this stuff. And just this little scene right here, because they could have skipped this and just been like, oh, it was a fire. Oh,
absolutely.
Okay. And it's superfluous. Like, you don't need it, but it adds so much brevity or so much weight to this little story.
It does.
So so the turtles and Gen,
I
all
love
them
really
ran
fast.
over there.
Hate to interrupt.
Yeah,
but I love the gradient transition on the top of this on top of this panel.
It's so
good. And it's throughout the book too. But this is one of the coolest examples of them attacking.
Yeah,
making things feel that intense, right? Like that blue to yellow to like red, like gradient, that orange. All that, it's just beautiful.
It's great.
Really good. Just really good coloring, and just everything's so thoughtful.
Yeah, and now the gradient on the character that you're talking about is a farmer that's being slashed in the back.
Yes.
And
it's so good.
It is excellent. And
it's basically screaming like kind of that. Also, I think it's kind of like setting the alarm. Like they're over on the walls. You know, it's just absolutely it's so good.
And the fighting is just really good. Just excellent art. And you get more fights, just tons of fights. And the thing, Stan just breaks up some of the panel. So like you'll see the sai and the bow staff here are breaking the panel lines and some of the feet and everything, just to illustrate like how much chaos is happening. So good. And I don't think the turtles are cutting anybody any slack here. I don't think they are at all.
No.
Like you get some good thocks and some conks on some skulls. And I don't think they're coming back from that.
No one here is saying clang.
No one's saying clang. Nobody. There's
no clangs.
No clangs. No clangs given.
No clangs. No slack. No nothing.
No. So they appear and they're all fighting, but then basically the turtles, Usagi and Gen, are run to where that screaming was and all that stuff, because that's where they think the main force is. However, back on the opposite side of the village, I can't say it. Gunji. There we go. Gunji.
There you go.
With his five best samurai, or not samurai, ninjas, attempt to get Kakura. They just are like, we got you. We tricked you. We pulled one over on you. And all the farmers kind of look like Wallace and Gromit. in the top panel up there.
They do actually. It's
that,
pretty funny.
That look on them
They're
on
like,
their face.
Oh no.
And so they're like, oh snap. So Kakura's like, all right, I gotta get this burnt Cheeto out here and start wreaking some havoc. But then out of nowhere, Leo finally shows back up, because remember, this whole time he's been absent because he followed that other spy. And he shows back up, takes out at least 2 of the ninja, and then gets hit with ninja dust. Let me see if I can find that.
That pocket sand, bro.
Yeah, just ninja dust. And my favorite instance of that in film was Bloodsport. That was just excellent.
Oh yeah,
Classic. Just that's my Van Damme impression. Sorry for the audio listeners. I was
there was a lot there.
Yeah, you couldn't see my hands, unfortunately, but he does that thing in Bloodsport. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Sorry. If you want to see that, you need to come over to YouTube. So yeah, so the ninja dust happens, and Leo then gets sliced with it looks like a claw, like the sword. I can't tell because
I think it's the sword. Yeah,
because with cats you can never tell. So
I mean, never know.
Never know. So there's that, and they're all kind of just wrecked, and everyone's like, "Oh snap!" And Leo is not doing good, but they get can't talk. The Neko clan do achieve their goal, and they take Kakura away, and leaving everybody just holding Leo and hoping he's all right, because he gets beat up pretty bad. Leo gets a lot of the.
He does.
He get ninjas and Leo.
They beat up pretty good.
They beat him up pretty good. So, there's that, and we get a cool little backup in the obviously in the back called Usagi's Garden, and again, all these are really good. No turtles in them, but do yourself a favor and read Stan Sakai.
If you want some extra credit, check it out.
Check it out. Extra credit. So, So what did you think about this? Like, did you enjoy this? Are you liking this so far, Ryan? Where are you at?
I am. I really liked the siege of the village elements of it. I liked how a lot of the book was kind of dedicated to this battle, in the castle or in the village. I mean, I can't say enough about the color gradient work and the action that Sakai lays out. Also, his layouts in general are awesome. They're not like layout crazy, but like they break those layout rules in just really tasteful ways, and that's probably like the thing I'd use to describe one of my favorite like pillars of why I love Sakai's work is tastefulness.
Yes.
Like he's always mindful and tasteful at like all times.
Oh yeah.
And the product is really high quality comics. Like that's what you get from the discipline that Stan has. I thought it was a good middle chapter. They got Kakera, and writing wise, they got Kakera, so this sets up what issue 3 is going to be, which is like, we got to get him back. And you saw how bloody the village fight got, and you're like, what, they got to go to the Neko clan base and go get him? Like, that's going to be worse, right?
Right.
So I really liked it as it carried. Once again, just good flavor all around. How about you?
Oh, I echo all your sentiments, except, not except, but I wanted to, you always do this. This is why we work so well together, and I enjoy doing the show with you, is that the way you just described that, the fact that we can assume that they're going to have to go to the Neko clan village, because that's the logical conclusion as to where they went with Kakura. I didn't think about it I knew they did it, and I read the story obviously, but but hearing it come from you, knowing that you're also a sports fan, and that there being something about a home team or home court advantage, thinking about that in relation to this,
absolutely,
is just like weird. And I don't know, all of this is like hitting me in a like that's we talk about this all the time on the show, that like when we read the issues by ourselves, it's one thing, but then when we get together and we talk about it, it becomes a whole other thing entirely.
Yeah, we kind of open it up, right?
Yeah,
like we it's like those folded up notes or those little games you have in school. You're like, what? What? Oh, and it opens up. It's like, you know, and there's like your face from the future is there, and also the day he dies in there.
Exactly.
And you're like, what?
Right.
And then you go to lunch,
and you get a gradient on your face. It's weird.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I'm feeling from this, and like it's just, I don't know. That's just neat to think about. Like they got to go to where all these people that just wrecked them live, and that's their turf. That's wild to me. And I don't know. Every time I read Usagi, like in these turtle books, it just reminds me that I need to pick up my slack.
I want more.
and go read more
Absolutely.
Usagi. Like I just need
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, so that's where I'm at.
And that's what it is. And it's funny how we respond so well to so many like writing tropes, and this is like, and the thing about it is it's so deceptively simple to make something so good, because this is just a 3-act story. And a lot of times the reason I'm responding so much to this, because you might be like, okay, Ryan, dude, I know about 3-act story and there's 3 issues. I know what Act 2 is.
Right.
Act 2 is like the beginning of the hero's journey and all is lost. And at the end, literally all is lost. Like Akira is gone. The ninja have killed, countless villagers. There's things on fire, and Leo is like injured, and we don't know how bad, right? From like, I mean, a pretty good sword strike. The problem is that a lot of times comics go against this so much. We talk about story arcs, right?
Yeah.
A comic story arc. Nothing's concluded in those. Not really, right? Because it's an ongoing. Right. So now we're talking about a story arc. Okay. Sometimes they have, beginning, middle, and end. But oftentimes with like things that are meant to sell comics, like extended fight scenes that are pointless, fight issues, stuff like that, we get messed up with where the story's supposed to be, right? And we saw this in Image, right? Where Image would take these jaunts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, and you feel that as a jar. Now you don't tell yourself like, well, I think the reason I'm reacting kind of poorly to this is because the 3-act structure has been broken in a way. No, all you know, because you're not thinking that deep about it, all you do is go like, I don't like this, man. Do you know what I mean? All you go is like, I'm falling off this comic. It doesn't take much of that crap to make you stop reading. Right. So it's almost in an effort to get more people to read the damn comic with fight issues and crap like that, and to water down the product. It's almost like people stop reading them. Right. It's almost like you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to have it done here once again, because Sakai is so tasteful and intentional to have it done here. I think that's maybe a reason that like we're both kind of mind blown by 3 comics, 3 acts. In a story that sounds so elemental, and it really is, but it's cool to get and that's what this comic series is kind of doing for me. It's so cool to get a reminder of like, no, that's how it is. Like that's good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, absolutely,
just that.
That's
all you need is that, right?
Like it's one of those things that validates the art form, like that validates the medium, because it gets discredited all the time, but yet you have evidence of it being like high art for all intents and purposes. Like it's just this is really good. So yeah, I love it. So all right, so let's you mentioned that 3-arc story. Let's get to that 3rd arc. If you will.
That 3-part story arc. Would you like number 3? Here we go.
Number 3,
this is issue number 3. This is the conclusion of Shades of Green. This is from July of '93. In the letter section at one point, Stan was like, "See you in 2 months," because he just knew that it was going to be too much. I love that. Like, oh, that's just great to me. So what do you think about this cover? I have an addendum after you're done describing it of something I want to talk about that I absolutely love that this cover does. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, this cover is fantastic. You got the 4 turtle boys. Leo's all bandaged up and has got his own burnt Cheeto, and Usagi's walking around looking like a badass. Gen's out there too, just hanging out. They're walking by a riverbank on some rocks, and our point of view is in the trees with a Neko ninja that's there waiting to pounce on them, and it looks beautiful. The colors, everything about it just looks so good. It's vibrant, but like it's almost like there's a what do you call it? Like, not, I want to call it a LUT, but that's, I think, a video term. But basically, like where there's a screen over it that kind of makes it look dull. Like they're vibrant, but it's all in the same, like, almost like, I guess there's probably an artist, like a colorist, that is like, no, that term is this. But in the audio world, it's like there's a compressor on it that's keeping all the things are loud and things are hitting stuff, but it keeps it at a level that it's uniform but still vibrant. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like it's got like a like all the colors pop, but there's like a
but they're all in the same like color field, right? Like the whole thing is a cool. It has a cool color. Everything's cool,
right?
Even the red, right? Even the red on their bandanas is a cool red,
right?
Like and people always say, "What's a cool red?" Well, think about a steak. Right? When a steak, I've been thinking a lot about color theory lately. So
I thought you were going to say I've been thinking a lot about steak.
I mean that too. Oh yeah. But think about a fresh steak before it's cooked. You know how it gets purple red?
Okay.
There's like a deep that's a cool red.
Yeah.
It's red,
Right.
but when you add like a purple or magenta element to red, it becomes cool red, which I've been learning all about. If you look at the colors, and you're responding perfectly to this, if you look at the colors of the bandanas, the warmest color is not even contrasting because it's a cool red. So
Right.
it's all complementary. Everything in the image is complementary. Also, the composition is beautiful because the water is blue, right? And the grass is that dull green, that pastel green. The turtles are on the left near the green. The cooler color characters from Usagi's universe are on the right with the blue water.
Right.
Like that's pairing up well. Like it's just once again, it's ultimate intention.
Is this the same way that they get Cool Ranch Doritos? Like, is this the same process?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What happens is so Cool Ranch. If you guys want to know, is effectively a combination of Cool and Ranch. Okay.
Oh.
So the first place they start from is they get the Cool, and they get that from the water in the riverbank.
Right.
Usagi and Gen don't need to be there, but it helps. Okay.
It does.
And then they take that. And then they go to the ranch, the pastel green ranch, which is right there, right
on the left. Yeah.
And then they take that Cool over there, and they let it get kind of ranched out for a little bit, and then that's how they make the flavor for Cool Ranch Doritos. So what you get when you pick up the Cool stuff from the ranch place, like a few days later, it's a big bag of that flavoring.
Yeah, exactly. That flavoring is what you're seeing in colors,
Yes,
this cover. The colors on this cover are Cool Ranch Doritos for your eyes. Like that's
absolutely. If you dropped, if your annoying like younger sister or brother dropped a dead ass like I mean I'm talking a real flavorful Cool Ranch Dorito. You know I'm talking about those ones that have all the flavor on them.
Oh yes.
Drop that on the cover of your comic book, and we're like, I'm a kid, and just ran away and didn't care that it was on there, and all the oil and all the Cool Ranch flavor got on there, and it kind of ruined it. You wouldn't really see it because it would just look like this cover.
It would just look like this cover. Beautiful. That's what it is. So yeah.
So I want to talk about something.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. I guess the best name for it is a landing page. So typically, especially in these old style comics, they don't do it as much anymore.
Yeah.
In the landing page, you open the cover, right? Me and your boy Eric. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the show, if you haven't been back as far, you forgot. Eric and I love page turn reveals. Yeah. That's like one of our favorite thing about comic book layouts.
Oh yeah.
Because layouts. Please go back and listen to it because we basically do a college course on comic book layouts. There is obviously the layout of the panels, right? Then there is the page layout. What happens after you flip a page is a part of the storytelling.
Right.
Well, these landing pages are typically a darker color, especially in Mirage comics and stuff like that. When you flip this one, and Eric's going to show you to the landing page, it's just an inverted version of the same goddamn art, and it looks so good.
It does.
And if you flip it back and forth between it, it's amazing. Like I was doing this when I was reviewing the comic. I was just going click, 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 click. I was like, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's really neat.
It all gets inverted. And what's really neat about it is, so what you notice, so flip back to the cover. I'm sorry, if you're on audio only, I'm going to try to describe this, but you need to check out the visual. You see how the tree on the cover has been removed from the cover?
Right.
It's black. It's negative space, right?
Yeah.
Flip the page.
It's there.
That tree was drawn.
Yeah.
And you can see all the detail in the tree and everything like that was used, all the leaves, everything that are blacked out was actual art that they give you on this landing page.
Yeah.
I just love that. I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, I do too. This is awesome. So yeah. And shout out to I think it's Tom Luth, who did the coloring on the.
Oh my God, we have to give credits. It's so hard because Stan Sakai does everything.
Most of it. Yeah.
Like everything like that. But Tom Luth? Tom Luth is the colorist on these 3 issues. God, we're terrible. The problem is you say Stan Sakai because he does everything typically, but he doesn't color.
Yeah.
And in the landing page for issue 1, he talks about how cool it is to be in color because Mirage is publishing in color now. So yeah, that's not. Yeah, it's typically not something that you see, but yeah, Tom Luth obviously colors and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so getting in anyway. I mean, I want every issue we review because normally they're really good. I really want this issue number 3 for that landing page.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I just want to like in person flip,
Right.
and just see it in person. But okay, so yeah, issue number 3 kind of opens up with us back in the Neko Clan base where the Neko Clan are victorious. Okay, you have Gunji, which just to remind you is the guy who's trying to seek power from Shizu, who is the brother or the sister of the original Yonin or leader of the Neko Clan. Okay. Yeah. She has a lot more of a conservative angle, kind of like, look, man, like we gotta have honor. Gunji is a I hate to say it, he's a prick. And you're gonna see because it gets worse.
It does.
Okay, if you thought Gunji saying like a woman lead the Neko clan, I'll fight you. Which I think that's funny because I'm kind of like, wait, so you're saying she's a woman, so she can't run the Neko clan, but you'll gladly beat her ass?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, what the hell? And what it tells you is we're dealing with lack of honor soup. You know what I'm saying? This guy's just any and all lack of honor Gunji's down for, right? Yeah. So they're back in there and they're discussing the logistics of taking Kakera back to their province because they are extended. And I actually like this a lot because it's cool. Because in war, when you are fighting on your home turf, that's cool. Well, the Neko clan is not. The Neko clan has extended kind of their boundaries, their armies, all the way out to this village that Kakera lives in. And just like in kind of feudal war, they're having to bring food out there for everybody to eat. They had to take up refuge in this abandoned church building, right? It costs a lot in resources, and it makes you weaker when you're in what they call in the field, okay? Like when you're sieging, for example. Like you think sieging a castle's cool because the people inside are starving and you're outside like ha 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 ha. But it's actually really hard on the besiegers.
Yeah.
I actually read and listened to this entire thing about sieges a couple weeks ago, weirdly. And the truth was, like, you could wait siegers out because it was really hard for them to stay out there. Yeah. Like they had to pay every soldier, right? You have to pay them. Yeah. Every day they're out there, right? And they're not doing anything. They're just standing. Like basically, and that's what they've been doing. So I liked that attention to detail about how, like, it felt very realistic. Having like an army on campaign is not nice. You want to get back home.
Right.
Because things are better at home. You're in your home territory. They're not. So they're talking about ways to secure Kakera and get him back to their home province where they can use him to do the things. And then Gunji gloats about his success that he got Kakera, so it's all good. That's going to win him the favor of the clan. It's going to topple Shizu's rule, which he says outright. Then he goes on to further state as he dreams about all of his little dominoes falling all into place. Winds up saying, "Oh yeah, and as for you, Shizu, you'll find favor as my consort." And then goes, "Come sit beside me."
Goodness.
And this panel of Shizu's face when he says that is amazing.
She's
like her look of just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh yeah.
And kind of like a darker angle on Sakai here, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, so Gunji's like does not respect her not only as a leader,
right,
but as a woman, and does not respect her as another ninja, right?
Yeah,
like he literally says, like, how about instead of ruling, you become my concubine?
Yeah,
how about that? Like that's where he's at.
Goodness.
Which I feel like is signing your own death warrant. I'm surprised Shizu doesn't attack him right here.
Yeah.
Like
I've never known anybody that said that to a woman and lived to tell the tale. Like
seriously.
Anyone, I mean, I've known people that have said that and they're all dead.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, that put it on their tombstone. Like,
exactly. Yep.
That sexism got you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So she storms out and he laughs as she leaves, like ha 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 ha. And you're like, wow. This guy.
Yeah. He's much.
So in the woods, the turtles, Gen and Usagi are making their way through Leo's marked path back to the Neko clan hideout. But we see Leo is still like really wounded from his encounter with them the night before, having to stop and take frequent breaks. And the gang all kind of like the turtles kind of subsequently are talking kind of behind his back, like, oh my god, can he get it done? Like holy shit. And like Leo's like literally grinning and he's like getting off the ground, like, no, we have to keep going. And they're like, yeah, good luck keeping him out of the fight. I think Donatello says, I'm gonna go and like draw people away from Leo and then defend Leo because he's gonna try to hop in there, he's gonna get himself killed because he's Leo and he won't stop. And it's true. Can't stop, won't stop. Your boy's like, after 2 seconds of like basically moaning, he's like, I'm good, and gets up, and like they keep walking, right? So and I just love this panel, Shades of Green, chapter 3, just that gradient in the sky, just absolutely gorgeous. So when they arrive at the Neko Clan hideout, Gen takes down a sentry with a wicked headshot with a bow and arrow.
Yes.
And it's so badass because it's one of the only times you see blood effects in the comic. It's very rare. And the turtles are impressed. And there's this subplot feeling, which I really like, of ever since. Gen, first of all, I love Gen's 5 o'clock shadow. It's like my favorite thing.
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that, but that's amazing. I just saw it right now.
He's not always shown with it in such great detail, but in panels where Sakai features Gen predominantly, like this panel, he will take the time to give it dimension. I really love that.
I love how the whatever turtle's behind him is giving him a thumbs up on just murdering somebody. I love that.
Good shot. And there's this subplot of Gen and the turtles. Like Gen took serious offense, and I love this in the story. Gen took real offense when Mikey came back and said, like, yeah, man, but like it's animals and people and animals, like, you know what I mean? Like y'all should just be animals. And like Gen took offense to that.
He did.
And he's not been cool with them since issue 2. Like, and it carries over here.
Yeah.
They're starting to get a little more cool because they're starting to appreciate each other. But like, there's like a lot of side shots and jabs, verbal jabs in this whole lead up to going to the hideout, which I like that he's keeping up with that idea.
Absolutely.
So they finally, get there. Yeah. Your boy Ken takes down that thing. Everybody gets a chance to kind of fight a ninja and kind of clean it up a little bit, show their talents, but they get through the sentries rather quickly. So they get into the Neko Clan hideout, and of course that is when the ninjas show up, and a gigantic fight breaks out, and you're like, oh, this is it, boys.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hand it over to Eric.
So
to do the second half of this going.
It's funny, Raphael's seen a lot in this issue, jumping, like just all different angles, and I kind of love it because he's typically the one that jumps into everything, and but this issue, this image is really cool, and again, excellent fighting art by Stan Sakai, just so good, just a bunch of just like pandemonium just happening, and it's just really well.
It almost feels. Can I say this? It almost feels like the way he draws action. I love it. It almost feels like he studied, like he just paused like Kurosawa movies. Just watch the composition.
I wouldn't be surprised if he
play for a second, pause it again. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I know he's a big Kurosawa fan. He talks about it a lot. But that's what makes his action flow feels really good. It feels like he really studied that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How fighters look in mid motion and how to draw them the right way.
Right.
To make them look like they are. Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because it's not a Eastern or a Western style art, like fighting style. It's definitely the drawing style, I should say. It's definitely an Eastern style, and that's what's really cool about it, is that it doesn't look like it doesn't have a lot of the hallmarks that we would have in some American made comics that are just 100% American made comics, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you feel that the Eastern influence to it. It's really unique,
and there's something just genuine about it that just I don't know. There's a liveliness to it, and I really dig it. So so our heroes fight their way through all the Neko ninjas, but no Kakera. He's nowhere to be found. Like just nothing. And so they're kind of crestfallen because they're not Rad Rat Dad, but still, Rad Rat Dad enough. And they want to find him. So they're just kind of looking around, mulling around. But then Usagi elsewhere ends up finding some fresh wagon tracks. He's like, it could mean nothing, or it could mean something. And so he takes off after the tracks down the dirt road or whatever it is. And so we end up realizing that that the wagon is actually something very important, and it is I can never remember this dude's name. Gunji. Gunji. Yeah, Gunji. Whatever.
Gunji, yeah, whatever.
One of the two. And Chizu, along with 4 other Neko ninjas. They are making their way downtown. Buildings pass and they're homebound, essentially. And they pass Vanessa Carlton on the way. And she's on that piano, like in that music video. Like, that's what's going on. That happened. Yeah. And they make their way to an embankment, or like a riverbank, I should say. And they're like just trying to figure out how they're going to get across. Chizu takes a moment to dip a cloth in the water.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. I really am, but I realized I omitted something in my part of this comic.
Okay.
Because I got so focused on the whole "you could be my consort" thing, which like really blew me off.
I could.
Gunji's plan is to dress them all as villagers, like farmers, like kind of woodcutters specifically.
Yes,
they are woodcutters or villagers transporting wood back to their province. That's how they're going to get him back there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why they're on this plan. So they're all kind of in disguise a little bit, acting like they're
true.
a lot more. There's even a joke where they're having to, like, these ninjas are pulling or like pushing this cart, and they're like, what? We can't afford a horse, and they're like, what woodcutter can afford a horse?
That's true. Yeah.
They're just keeping, I don't know, I just want to add that because I feel like I didn't do a good job of describing that. But yeah, they're trying to stay in character as these, disguise themselves to transport him back.
Right. And so that's a whole thing. So they're definitely doing that. And it just goes again to say that, like, to Mikey's point about a horse is a horse, of course, but a cat can't own a horse if he cuts wood. And
That's
how much
true,
wood
you have to buy a horse, even though I'm an animal.
Right, but how much wood could a woodcut cat cut if a cat could cut wood to buy a horse?
A cat would cut down the first tree and then cut it into small pieces and just play with those pieces. No wood would be cut. They'd just be playing with the woods.
Right, and
they go to sleep in the woods.
They wouldn't even care about the horse that you bought them. They just want the box that it came in. Horses come in boxes, right? Like, that's how they get shipped, right? In boxes. Okay, that's what I thought.
Absolutely.
So they just care about that box.
You can't use knives. It says very clearly, don't use knives to open this box, which I suggest you don't.
Yeah, don't do that. You don't want to open the horse box with a knife. So your boys are dressed up like common woodcutters. We all know what woodcutters look like, and
absolutely,
they look just like that. Like, if I told you that those were ninjas, you wouldn't believe me. And so anyway,
no, I'd be like, what? I mean, I'd go back to cutting more woodcutters.
Exactly. Yeah. So Chizu takes a moment to refresh herself by dipping a cloth in the water and kind of just caressing her face, which is really cool because you see her in a lot of different elements. You see her being like the leader, and she's taking on that role, and she kind of presents herself as has to be putting on a face, like a strong face, and just pressing on.
Yeah.
And this is a moment where she gets a little bit of a reprieve, where she can relax and put her guard down. But that's even more indicative of the situation, because that's what they're wanting her to do. Gunji is like, all right, now is the time to do it. Quick, surround her. And she is surrounded by all of the Neku wood cutting ninjas. And so he's just ensuring his leadership is going to be of the clan is going to be locked in, and basically throwing a coup here. So this ends up not going over very well, but before we see the result of that, Usagi starts to sees the wagon, and it's like, oh, there it is. But there's something going on. So he runs up there, and this is where they inform Gunji about the long-eared samurai. And I love that they call him that. Like, that's just neat to me. But anyway, so they run after him and take off, and Usagi just makes short work of them, just totally just cutting them up. Like, these guys have nothing on him. So at this point, while all this is happening, Gunji and Chizu start having it out, and their fight is really cool. Like, just it's very quick, but he attacks Chizu, and she's like, "What, did you think I would be so unprepared?" And she's got a burnt Cheeto with a knife that comes out of it, and that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
So she is armed and ready. And they do the classic thing where they fight a little bit, they skirmish, and then all of a sudden they're standing across each other. And again, this is in front of a waterfall too, so stereotypical, but still really cool.
Yeah,
they do the thing where they're like, all right, they're looking at each other, and then they rush each other, and they both attack at the same time, but you don't know who wins.
Love it.
Yeah, turns out I can never remember this guy's name. Gunji ends up with his dick in the dirt. Well, the dick in the water. Yeah, just splash.
Muttering.
There you go.
Muttering that skull words.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. I think he does.
You know.
Yeah, he totally does. Like right here. Like,
yep.
Just bam, and we get some blood. That's
God,
nuts.
That is so Kurosawa. Both people like stride by each other and like one falls. Like you don't know who. That's so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's almost as good as that Thin White Line when Leo takes out. Yeah,
never
Shredder.
Forget.
So at this point, all the Neko clan usurpers have been dealt with, and so is Gunji. So now it's just Chizu and Usagi, and she's like, "Oh, you're Miyamoto Usagi," which is Usagi's like first name.
Yeah.
So, last name, but
this is the last name. But yeah.
So, who aided our clan against Lord Tamakuro in the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy, which I think was the title of the story that happened last volume. And so he's like, yeah, I am. And so she's like, yeah, Shinjin, which is her brother, spoke highly of him, of Usagi. And so she's like, yeah, his praises, though, did not do justice to your skill. And then she lays a smackaroo right on this rabbit dude. And yeah, he is just like spitting out all the exclamation marks. Just.
Oh, absolutely. There's just a lot happening with him.
Yeah. And so he's like, what? And she goes, I am Chizu. And then Kakura is yours. I have no more interest in him. Farewell. We'll meet again. I love this. I love it so much because people in Japan, or at least in animes that I've watched that take place in Japan, they have this thing where they're just like, hey, I'm going to have some big impact in your life, and then I'm just going to tell you who I am and walk away. I'm going to declare that we're going to meet again. And rest assured, they'll meet again. And it's just like, I love that so much.
Small country, you know?
I love it. And everyone's just walking places. So anyway, Usagi then is like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that Shinjin had a sister. Didn't know that, but good to know. Good to know. So he goes back and he's like, no time to concern myself with her. I've got other matters to attend. Now let's see if my hunch was right. A hidden chamber in the woodpile. And sure enough, he is drugged, but otherwise looks all right. We got Kakura here. And so, so at this point, the I didn't realize this the first read through, but Michelangelo just yells, "Yo, Jimbo."
I like that a lot. Yojimbo.
It's so good. And so so they run up on Usagi and he's like, yeah, this is what happened and blah blah blah. We got Kakura back. And so everyone goes back to the village and all is well. They make their they say their goodbyes and everything, and then Kakura says, "Are y'all ready?" And then he sends them back and puts them back to being little turtles and basically sends their spirits back to New York. But the little baby turtles are still here, and you got your boy Leonardo.
Little baby Leo's still bandaged up.
Still bandaged up. Love it so much.
Love that.
So good. And then another epilogue. Epilogue 2, we have oh man, you're right. Gen does have the 5 o'clock shadow. I totally missed that when I read through it.
I want to go back. So I think he's shown with it a lot. I want to go back and see if it's longer in this issue than issue 1.
Oh, okay.
Because if it was, that would be gross.
That would be. Well, while you're doing that, in this part right here, the epilogue, Usagi and Gen are basically saying, everything's dealt with. Kakura will be safe now, probably. I don't think the Nico clan is going to mess with him anymore, thanks to Shinjin's sister saying that. So they kind of just converse for a minute, and then they say, all right, well, I got other things to do, so I'll see you when I see you, essentially. And yeah, again, more of this, all right, we did our thing. I'm going to go walk this way, you walk that way, and then we'll cross paths again. And that's just, there's something just elegant about that I just love. So, and then we have another little short story in the back called Autumn, and it's really good. Do yourself a favor for some extra credit and read it, but there are no turtles in there. There is a little wolf guy that kind of looks like Kakura, but it is not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks kind of like how some of the Mirage people drew Splinter. At some points,
right? But yeah. So if you just really fast in the backup in number 1, I believe, They do show a bunch of different people fight Usagi and die, and there are 5 skull word bubbles, and the skulls look roughly the same. So
Okay,
and they're
so
different. Cat, there's a bear, there's different people. So I feel like you get one.
you get one.
That's what you
Yeah.
get. You get just a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat. I love that
Hmm.
so much. That's so good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Get that extra credit to support Stan.
definitely.
If you can
Um,
find it, buy it.
absolutely. So yeah. Well, what did you think of I guess this issue now? What are your feelings on how the third
Um.
arc summarized?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it worked well. It did end like a classic samurai story where everyone kind of parts ways. I like the fact that it's a Usagi book, and at the end when everything goes down, it is him. It's him. He's alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like at the last battle, everyone gets in on the big battle at the Neko clan like hideout,
Right.
but it's him versus those ninja, and then Chizu and Gunji against each other
Yeah.
for the end battle. I think that was a very cool thing to have at the end, because I think you're tempted when you tie Splinter, Kakera, and the turtles into your book and you're on Mirage. I think it's tempting to have them carry maybe too much weight to make it feel like it's justified. And I do like that it feels like it's Usagi's book all the way through. Like I'm talking about generally, I guess, at this point about the comic.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel
we
like it
can.
was his book regardless.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. I think the conclusion was really satisfying for a read.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's neat that like the turtles didn't play so much of a heavy-handed. They did their role that
Yeah.
they should do in almost any other book that they come into, where they're not like they're just they're ancillary. They're kind of
Yeah.
just contributing, but they're not pivotal necessarily. Like Leo was pivotal in the sense that he followed and found the Neko hideout, and that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was one thing, and that he helped some other stuff in the story. But for the most part, it was all Usagi's journey, and I agree. I loved that, and yeah, the whole thing that you mentioned that he's just alone again. That's just really just I don't know so much about this. Like all the things that are in this book are the hallmarks of things that I've loved about other Japanese related things like animes and different things that
Yeah.
I've loved throughout the years. Like Inuyasha has a lot of this stuff in it, and just different things. So like that just really rang true to me, and just really like again made me think that or just made me realize that I need to get back caught up on Usagi. Like I don't know why I keep sleeping on him, but like I've never read an Usagi book story I didn't like, and this is another
Yeah.
one that's evidence of that. And so yeah, and now I want to know more. I want to know what's going to happen after this. I want to see where Usagi goes. I want to I'm invested. I'm in it. I'm in it. So yeah, as a whole, again, like I think it worked really well. I think that it's really neat that they didn't explain necessarily like what Kakura's powers, how they work. Like we didn't need to know exactly how they work, but we got the gist of it. And yeah, I'm very interested to see how this is going to tie in volume 4 when we get to that eventually, when they come back to this, because this kind of has the same vibe of that, the Big Bang comics that we read in Image, where we read about Gilead and all that, and how that played back in. I'm hoping that this is going to have a similar thing in volume 4 when we read it, that it's going to be like, oh, and it's not just they've met before. It's like there's something that like more stuff from this is going to be pulled into that. That's going to be really cool for me if they do that. But
yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah. And overall, really good. I think it's definitely worth your time. And the art's gorgeous, and yeah, it is a really good take on a story where like the turtles feature, because they do play like a role, right? Like they hey, Leo tracks down the guys, comes back, but he's wounded, and the other turtles. I do like that Leo got a little bit more time in the book, because Leo is really like Usagi's connection to the turtles, right? The other turtles don't know him as much,
right?
So I really liked that he had his chance to get involved more, because that feels like that's in keeping with this kind of constant thing we've seen since back in the 80s of them, where it's Leo and Usagi are the two that keep connecting.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And overall, I really like it. So yeah, no, definitely worth your time. And yeah, always so good to be able to read Stan's work like on the show.
Yeah.
So it's always
Oh
fun.
yeah. Was their first encounter? No, I think their second encounter, the one where Usagi is messing with the fat priest
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
having some
having some
sport with
sport with the
the
fat one. Is
That's
that what that was from?
that was
Yeah. Okay.
1988. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we called that episode. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Having some sport with the fat one. I thought that's what it was.
Well, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, what other stories are they like having fat ones in it? I guess. But yeah, okay, so that's cool. So that just makes me love it even more. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it. Well, guys, what did y'all think?
So that's our stuff.
Did you enjoy this? Did you like Usagi? What's your favorite Usagi crossover with the TMNT? Do you like him in the animated series, the comics? We want to know. We want to know it all. Did we miss anything? Did we get anything wrong? Did we get things too right? A little too raff? I don't know.
Oh, maybe a little too raff.
Maybe a little too raff. You can let us know by commenting in the comment section or emailing us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And if you want to hear more of our episodes and hear more of us talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can do that by going to the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com. All of our episodes are up there. You can also find us on pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as here on YouTube. And if you're here on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment. Those things all help us out tremendously and help to keep is one small step to keep us from saying clang. But if you want to go a few extra steps, you can do that by going to Instagram, following us there. You can also thought there was something else, but it didn't come to mind. But
you could also go on Patreon and
that's what I'm going to say. That's the leap and bound above everything else that takes us to the next level. It takes us higher.
Yes.
And like when Creed wrote that song, "Can you take us higher?" He's not talking about heaven. He's talking about Patreon. Like, can you get us there? And because that's the land where they don't say clang.
Ahead of his time.
There's no clang there. It's in one of the apocryphal books of the Bible. It says that there's no clang in heaven. And
yeah, absolutely. And you can find a lot of different tiers on there to get you different stuff as low as $1 just to help out the show. And we really obviously appreciate all of our patrons. Yes. And a lot of you guys have been with us for a long time, and it really does help the show keep going. And it's so good to know that we have the support of you guys in helping us do that. Keep
absolutely.
10 years in, it really helps us, keep the lights on. Which is nice.
It does. And go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to mention something on the very end, so you don't have to do your own shilling. Don't forget about the Easy Opens little giveaway. Go to youtube.com and check out Easy with a Z Opens on there. Subscribe, comment, all this stuff, like the videos. And if you do that, you can win some Brick Boys that Eric reviewed on there, which is a very funny review. Where one keeps falling over on the turntable.
I'm glad you appreciated that.
Yeah, I appreciated that because the whole video I was kind of like, that guy's gonna fall over.
Yeah,
and then it did. I'm like, yes. It's almost like when the DVD logo goes in the corner of the screen, like in the dead corner.
So satisfying.
It's like yes,
right.
But yeah, go there to win that stuff and some other Turtle Soup swag. It's not just going to be Turtle Brick Boys. There's going to be Eric's going to sprinkle a few things, and don't forget, I mean, Eric's abode is where all the Turtle Soup swag is stored. So it's like the Fort Knox of Turtle Soup. So who knows what might gold flakes might fall into that box. You know what I mean? Like you have no idea.
Yeah.
And unless you go subscribe to Easy Opens and do that stuff, and let's all pull together and get Eric more of that.
There you go. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And the other thing I forgot was the Facebook group. Come on over there and join that. And
okay, so I want to talk about something really fast.
Okay.
So this week, Facebook pulled a fast one, y'all.
It did.
Okay,
it
was wild. So I'm just hanging out, and all of a sudden, and I mentioned it in our new Turtle Soup chat that Facebook just made.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm hanging out, and I start getting push notifications like wild. I'm at work, right? It's push. All these people talking, and I'm like, who the hell are these people? What's going on? And I belong to a Tampa Bay Rays like fan page group on the thing. And you know how that can be. There's just a lot of weird old people on Facebook, and it gets like real cheesy, but it's cool because they do break news there. Like those people will come in and like break news or do different stuff that it's a good way to aggregate me getting more Rays BS online. They start this chat starts up, and it is, I've never seen this Facebook like group chat thing.
Yeah.
it is everyone being about as cheesy and cringy as it possibly can be all at
Really?
one time, and it's awful. And I'm like, oh my, I'm getting pushed like crazy. There's like
Yeah.
thousands of people in this group, and I'm like, oh my god, and like, so I had to mute that, right?
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden, Facebook's like, what's up, admin of Turtle Soup Group on Facebook?
Yeah.
You've got a chat, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think I want to start that.
No.
So I click on whatever I think's going to stop it, and it goes,
Yeah.
Chat's a pretty good way to get everybody connected. And I'm like, absolutely not. And then it goes, awesome. Here's your chat. Say something. I'm like, I feel like they're holding a gun to my head.
Oh yeah.
That's why if you're on the Facebook group and you got this push, sorry I pushed everybody in the group. I literally just want you to know, like, there's almost no way to not do this right now on Facebook. They're making it a compulsory. Do it if you don't do it if you want to. Who knows? You know what I mean? Do it if you want. Don't do it.
Surprisingly, I didn't get it. My wife got it.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
But
I couldn't access it at all. She kept trying to send it to me, and it wouldn't let me look at it at all. I'm like
yeah,
admin only.
So it's been cool because people are chatting in it, and if you're getting the pushes and you don't want to be involved in a huge chat, because I guess Facebook's trying to turn itself into Discord now randomly, with groups, don't. Right. And like, no one's going to be offended if you mute that or whatever. Or, you know, the talk in there's kind of weird. It just has like one general thing. So people are just saying all kind of crap. But yeah, I just want to explain that's now a part of the Facebook situation. And there are ways to mute it and get out of it, because I had to do it with that baseball group, because I was like, I'm not going to live my life like that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm not going to do it.
No. So, and if you don't want to do it, don't feel like we're going to be upset. It's not like we're going to be like, oh man, they're not doing it. So yeah, because probably we're not going to do it either. But yeah, well, what we are going to do is we're going to have to get out of here. But guys, thank you again so much for watching and listening. We really appreciate you. And we got episode 300 coming up. So we got some stuff planned for that. Nothing too special, but something in the pot.
I mean, you could say everything we do is a little bit special.
I mean, you could.
I guess I'm just I started it like Bill Cosby, and now I'm ending it like the Cosbys.
Exactly. Well, hopefully it doesn't end like how he ends a lot of things. So but we're gonna end it the way that we normally do. Else time.
Yes. Else time.